right. Good afternoon, buonasera, and greetings to everyone. It is morning here in North America, and I know it's very late in Asia. I hope all of you are well and staying safe. It's unfortunate that I and so many others are unable to be in Bucharest to join in this 30th anniversary conference of ACEEO in person, but we are certainly pleased to be joining online. You know, we certainly live in challenging times as this COVID pandemic has affected all of us, no matter where we live. It is my hope and prayer that we may see better times soon and see each other again in person and chin our glasses at another ACEEO conference. I congratulate you on an excellent leaders forum, which I just watched, which brought together the best of institutions that work passionately and collaboratively to bring democracy and free and fair elections to every country. Election officials and those involved in promoting democracy have been challenged in recent years like never before. It is an honor today to have been asked to moderate this session for the great leaders who have been designated by this tremendous organization as honorary members of the Association of European Election Officials. Honorary members of the ACEEO are individuals who provided extraordinary service to the association in support of free and fair elections. Honorary members have non-voting status, but may fully participate in conferences and meetings of the General Assembly. The General Assembly votes to designate a person as an honorary member. In the history of ACEEO, all honorary members have been voted in unanimously. I was selected for honorary membership at ACEEO in 2002 when I was serving as Executive Vice President of IFES. It's been a highlight of my career of promoting democracy and elections. My first experience with ACEEO was in 1995 when my good friend Richard Sudret, then president of IFES, asked me to attend the conference which was being held in Lake Balaton in Hungary after I just spent 3 weeks in Romania doing a pre-election assessment. By that conference in 1995, I had already done democracy work in the Russian Federation, Romania, Kazakhstan, Moldova, and Ukraine, and knew the leaders of the EMBs there. It was at that 1995 conference where I met Zoltan Toth, the General Secretary of ACEEO, and other people who would go on to become very important in my life and in my career. Today, many of those people I met in 1995 are also honorary members of ACEEO. In those early years of the organization, I was asked by office to help with program ideas. In the late 1990s, I helped draft the charter for ACEEO, much of which still exists today. Over the years, I have provided advice to members, the executive board, and to the General Assembly, and have participated in over 20 ACEEO conferences. I've helped the organization to bring in global experts for their conference and also helped to facilitate the participation of important global institutions. Over the years, many of my fellow American election officials attended and participated in ACEEO. I've also gotten ACEEO members invited to speak to election conferences in the United States and other locations. Through my work with IFES and other organizations, I have actually worked in 22 of the 25 institutional members of ACEEO. Many of the election officials I have worked with became friends for life. I broke bread in their homes and they ate in mine. The last person designated as an honorary member of ACEEO was the late Dr. Istvan Zsufa, who was a program director for ACEEO for many years and whom I met in 1995. I was honored to host him and Dr. Toth in my home in St. Louis in 2000 and broke bread with him many times in Hungary. He was certainly a great man. My interaction with ACEEO has made a profound and positive difference in my life. It made me a better professional and a better person. I found that best practices in elections can be found everywhere, and that ACEEO has been an important vehicle to share those great ideas, which can then be used in any country. I know for a fact that shared best practices and techniques learned from ACEEO conferences have been copied and used throughout the world. I also found that the sharing of cultural and personal experience through ACEEO has helped to bring the world closer. The amazing sights I have seen and the vast array of delicious food and all kinds of local drink will forever have a mark on my life. As we do at every conference in every language, I raise my glass in a toast to ACEEO on this occasion of its 30th anniversary and wish many more years of success. I actually have my champagne here to share with you because I know full well that there'll be toast to this organization. And since we can't be there, we can certainly toast in our homes wherever we may be. Now it's an honor, a great honor, to introduce a few of the tremendous leaders of ACEEO who have been bestowed honorary membership. They represent the 28 leaders who share honorary membership in ACEEO. Our first speaker is the Honorable Ivliana Alexvina Robinson, former chairperson of the Central Election Commission of Bulgaria. Ms. Robinson has been a global leader and mentor to many women who became chairman of EMBs and others involved in democracy movements. She's quite known for her honesty, integrity, fairness, and tremendous skills and leadership. I present to you Ms. Robinson. Ms. Robinson, you have the floor.
Dear Paul, thank you so much for this, for the way you presented me. Allow me to second you in the greetings for the 30th anniversary of ACEEO, the presence of the EMBs here and online, the presence of all the partners of this organization today online. All of this showed what a strong role ACEEO has and how much it is needed. And now I would like to do the following, if you allow me. I think that this organization is very important because of its members, but I would like to give a symbolic present to Mr. Zsolt Szolnoki, because all of us know that without Mr. Szolnoki, this organization wouldn't be so alive and wouldn't develop so good. Mr. Szolnoki, this is for you.
I would dedicate this to all the Honorary.
Yes. So now allow me to continue about the ACEEO and share my personal feelings and my personal practice with this organization. When I became a member of ACEEO, it was in the distant 2014. Actually, I was in Romania. And now, 3 years after the end of my mandate, I'm here as an honorable member in Romania, and I think it's very symbolic for me personally, and this is something very positive. When I was the chair of the Bulgarian Central Election Commission, ACEEO helped me really a lot. And I will try to summarize this on the analytical level, but also on a very private and emotional level, and I will be honest in front of you. Now, on the analytical level, ACEEO provided me with a lot of useful information, theoretical, but also very pragmatical in almost all the fields I needed such an information. And we spoke about the usage of new technology. This issue started to be discussed within DMBs when the Bulgarian legislature decided that the Bulgarian Commission is to introduce the machine voting, is to introduce the internet voting, and also to scan the protocols with the result sheets. So the information was very useful. Let me say provide you two more examples. For example, about the impartiality and neutrality of the members of the commissions of DNBs. So this is a very important issue, but it has its specific dimensions when we talk about collective bodies, collective commissions, and when the members of the commissions are well, nominated by the political parties. and they represent the proportions of the political parties presented in the parliament. This is a specific issue and effort there are to be put, and this is where ACEEO helped me, assisted me. Maybe the COVID measures and the youth participation, we all need these challenges, and these are very actual topics. Second, ACEEO is a very good platform for exchange of experience. And we, the MBs here present mainly our achievements. But it is good because you should not invent the bicycle or discover the hot water. You could see the example of the other countries and then use it in accordance to the law, if the law allows you to do so. And when we share the weaknesses and the challenges we met, and then the mistakes we made, it can support our colleagues from other EMBs when they introduce the same institutes and the same practices, not to make the same mistakes. On the third place, ACEEO showed me the international electoral organizations. Before that, I knew only about Council of Europe, Venice Commission, and OSCE, as many of you, because they came to my country and they assessed our legislation and our practices. And I should put a bracket here, very good recommendations and very serious work, because when the Bulgaria as a country followed the recommendations, it was always for good. But I didn't know about the UN efforts. I didn't know about IFES efforts. I didn't know about AWEB, International India, and all the other organizations which have such a strong contribution for the elections all over the world. And then on an emotional level, when I gained ACEEO, I met a society of people. I became a part of a society of people with common understanding about elections. And you remember the example I provided for well, the specifics in the commissions where the commissioners are politically nominated. Well, I'll confess now, from time to time, it was easier for me to communicate with the commissioners from other countries where EMBs were members of the ACEEO than with some of my own commissioners. And I'm sure that this is the case in other countries as well, although we do not say it in public. Talking about common understanding, I would like to say only 2 words about the support. Paul, do you remember there was an international event once, and you presented me as ACEEO manager in Bulgaria, and you patted me on my back. You probably don't remember this, but I do, because I had hard times at this moment. And that was exactly what I needed. Yes, I'm a manager, I said to myself, and I will manage this situation, whatever it causes me. So it was a support. And second, when ACEEO makes an event in a country, we all know that this is a support for the respective EMB as well, which the other state authorities, the political parties understand. So this is very important. Now, being a member of the ACEEO and a member of the executive board of the organization and a president for 2018, I had the chance to, on behalf of ACEEO, to attend some international events organized by Tamara in Georgia. I was an observer of the elections in Russia in 2018. I think, oh yes, being a chair of my commission and the president of ACEEO, I had the honor to be a main speaker, the Human Dimensions Implementation Meeting organized by OSCE ODIHR in 2017, I think, in the panel Democratic Institutions and Democratic Elections. And that was my eye for the world. That was gaining of knowledge, and of course I made a lot of friends a lot of them are here, but we are to remember about Arnis. Arnis is not here, about Yanya and about many others. But finally, I would like to say that ACEEO really opened the international world for me. So after I ended my mandate as a chairperson of the Central Election Commission of Bulgaria, I became a part of UN family, and I became a non-voting, international non-voting commissioner of the Independent Commission of Afghanistan. And after that, I was head of mission for a CODIR election assessment mission in Tajikistan. When I was gained the honor to become an honorable member of ACEEO, I was in Afghanistan. And I shared this honor with this news with my colleagues there, and they were all happy about me. And it happened that one of my best friends there, working as a senior operational advisor, Christina, who is from Hungary, well, she started her career in UN and in the elections with ACEEO in 1997 in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So what I'm saying is that the world is small, the world of electoral officials and electoral professionals is even smaller. And when we see each other here, we can see us tomorrow on different positions in this electoral family. Thank you very much. ACEEO is in my heart and in my brain, and I wish this organization a lot of future success.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Evelina, for those amazing remarks and your personal experience with this organization, because I know you represent many. And the remarks you made when you brought up Afghanistan, it reminded me of how several election officials from Afghanistan had come to past ACEEO meetings to be trained and to learn about elections. And I know it has to be painful for you and all of us for what's happened in that country, and what's happened with some of the people that we worked with, either through ACEEO or other organizations who fought for democracy and elections. And we can only hope and pray that someday they will be safe and things will change there so they can have elections again. You know, during the course of one's life, you meet a lot of people. And for most of us, we meet people who have made a profound difference in our lives. For me, Richard Sujared is that person. Back in 1991, I met Richard at a conference in the United States in Kansas City. He was a speaker. He was president of IFES, which was very new at the time. And he gave me his card, told me I should send him his resume, which I didn't do until 2 years later. But he sent me to the Russian Federation in 1993, and it was the beginning of my international career in elections. At the 2001 ACEEO conference, he actually took me for a walk and asked me to serve as his executive vice president of IFES. All of us know Richard was a founding father, and perhaps the founding father of ACEEO. He supported the organization all these years passionately. And I know we're all grateful to Richard for what he did then in 1991 and what he's accomplished over the past 30 years. So it's really an honor for me to introduce to all of you our wonderful and dear friend, Richard Sujared.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's a great honor for me to be here with you today. And it's terrific to see after 30 years that Zsolt Szolnoki and his team are continuing the tradition. Also, all the members of the executive board. We all are sorry. I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you in Bucharest this year, but nevertheless, as Paul said, we all tonight, even virtually, will raise a glass to you and all your colleagues from the Permanent Election Authority of Romania. Naro. Paul, has mentioned several things about that really resonated with me. And when we were beginning to plan for this session, he asked, well, if we could talk about a little bit how what the ACEEO has meant to us in our careers and personally. And I will try to address both of those in a moment, but I think that he pretty well captured that not only has it been the learning experience in terms of elections and the election process, but also the people that we have met along the way. I was really captivated, and I've written it down, and I'm going to use it again. I'm very pleased to see IFAS is continuing in the tradition and strongly supporting ACEEO, and the presence of Tony Banbury is very much appreciated. And he used a term that I think is excellent, a mindset of collaboration. And if I have to really sum up anything in terms of what one of the great accomplishments has been of ACEEO over the past 30 years, it's been just that. But it's a mindset of collaboration, not from the top down. I mean, IFAS we were able to get funding, and at the time, our founding chairman of IFAS, F. Clifton White, he was a great supporter of electoral process, and he had seen how regional associations had worked so well in Latin America in terms of promoting democracy. So he and I both sat down and mapped out a plan to come to Hungary in November of 1990. And we had been able to pull together a little bit of money that IFAS had received for some initial election work in 1989 in Bulgaria, interestingly, and Romania. And it was, the idea was to meet with the election authorities in Hungary and propose the idea of to start off with a symposium that potentially could lead to the establishment of a regional association. Of course, the first person that we met with was Dr. Zoltan Toth. He's a giant figure in his own right, and he loved the idea, he embraced it, and we would never have been able to hold the symposium without him. He marshaled the support of the Hungarian government at the time, especially within the Ministry of Interior. We had support from top to bottom. The Hungarian government provided transportation services. The translation services were one of the things that was the most challenging in those days, because we were mindful with the changes that had happened with the Berlin Wall coming down and so many countries beginning to look at reestablishing their democracies, but also their own traditions and their own languages. So we were mindful of being sensitive to that. And at that particular conference, thanks to the government of Hungary, we offered translation in 8 different languages. And I think probably the most memorable moment was when I was sitting in the hall, the conference was underway, the speakers were talking, and Mr. White, in his inimitable fashion, turned to me and he said, "Richard, those people are talking. You go back there and tell them to shut up." And I said, "Mr. White, I can't do that, because if I do, nobody will understand. Those are the translators." There were so many translators in the room that it was just impossible to hear. But from that conference, and then the actual founding, the organizational meeting for the ACEEO that happened in November also of 1991, it's just exciting to see what has happened over the past 30 years. And I think that it really, I mean, in terms of lessons learned for me, also lessons learned for organizations like IFAS, and then just in general, the whole area of international cooperation. It was an example of a mindset of cooperation, that going into it not with the notion that that the group coming in initially had all the answers. Actually, the role that IFE has played from the very beginning and continues to play is a catalyst to encourage the sharing of ideas and experiences. And as Paul has mentioned, as Evelina has mentioned, and others, in some ways, the ACEEO was a really unique organization at the time, because it's a non-governmental organization of election professionals. And so what it has done is given the opportunity for people to share experiences, to share information, and to learn from one another. And from the initial beginnings, to me, it's just been exciting to see how the organization has gone far beyond the borders of the original members of the ACEEO, and in fact, beyond Europe. ACEEO has played a really important role in establishing similar regional associations in Asia and Africa and the Middle East. And I know that the associations that they have with individual countries, the participation today of my good friend Lorenzo Cordoba and Manuel Carrillo from INE just underscores that. The very first time that INE, previously IFE, participated in any ACEEO activities was the same conference that Paul references in 1995. And from that time, they have continued to work together closely in partnership. And I have to say that for these recent elections here on June the 6th, as has been discussed, the election authority was under a lot of attack, and people were raising issues about the legitimacy of elections, kind of similar to what you might have heard the year before in another country north of the border. And it just was amazing to see how ACEEO stepped right in and led the way with a declaration of support for the Federal National Election Institute of Mexico and for the principle of independent election administration. And they were able to recruit our friends from IDEA and many other organizations that signed on to it. So it's exciting to see the role this organization has played in the past, is playing now, and even more importantly, what will be doing in the future. So I just join with all of you and thanking you and congratulating you and looking forward to continue working with you to make sure that ACEEO is there and is supporting free and fair elections and the right of people to vote. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Richard, for those wonderful remarks, and again for your personal dedication to ACEEO and to so many of us involved in this field. I know that you it's in your heart, everything that you do in this area, and you don't just touch people with your head, you touch them with your heart. And not many people do that, but you're one of those few people who do, and we appreciate you and everything that you do. Our next speaker is a young man. He's still young, you know, when you compare it to me and others. Yuri Chikan. I met Yuri back in 2008, 2009, when he became secretary of the Central Election Commission of the Republic of Moldova. And I had done a lot of work in Moldova from 1995 on. So I made a point to meet him. But in 2009, OSCE ODIHR asked me to lead an election assessment mission to Sweden, Slovenia, and Poland, and placed Yuri on our team. And we spent 3 weeks together. Also on the team, I might add, is Alexander Schlick, who later became elections chief of ODIHR later on. Yuri became chairman of the CEC in Moldova a few years later, and he became a transformative leader in elections from Moldova because he worked very hard to modernize election administration and institute important training institutions within the country, and something that was sorely needed, not had been done before, but he learned from others and best practices from coming to ACEEEO and working with international institutions. And I say his best practices has been copied by others throughout the world, and he left this mark, which really was a turning point for the Moldovan Central Election Commission. And I applaud him for his work. And so it gives me it's a great pleasure to introduce my my very good friend, Yuri Chikan. Yuri, puftim.
Paul, thank you very much for this kind introduction. And I think then I met you in my life, and I remember how it happened exactly. In 1997, then in the Republic of Moldova was approved electoral code, and not many people knows that you are one of the father of electoral code in the Republic of Moldova. And you should know that we in CEC keep in our archive pictures with you, with Mr. Nedelko, with Mr. Bocan in work group. Then we work together with you, with very important men from US, from federal elections of United States on that time. And we worked together for electoral code of Republic of Moldova. It was first time then I saw you in my life in 1997. After it, we have opportunity to work together. Anyway, thank you very much for your introductions and for everything that you've done before and you will do for Moldova. Really, these organizations, our institutions, it's like a labor union for us, because Richard mentions very clear that we are electoral professional, and we are builder of democracy, and our organizations, our common institutions is like a labor union. It's a place where we can share experience, where we can learn from each other experience, where we can do things together, where we can invite friends to learn something from them and show them our results. In Republic of Moldova, for next year, we will celebrate 25 years, 25th anniversary of electoral code. And Paul, it's a good opportunity to visit Moldova again. And not only Chisinau, or here too. Yeah. A few weeks ago, Parliament of Republic of Moldova approved new component of electoral commissions for next 5 years. And here you can see a new chairwoman of Electoral Commission of Moldova, and I want to introduce for all of my friends here in associations, Ms. Angela Karaman, who is current and for next 5 years chairwoman of Electoral Commission. And I very pleasure to ask you to work with her exactly like we work together, because she is a builder of democracy, and will continue all good things that start in Moldova, and will develop it exactly like it was done with support of organizations in previous period of time. Today, earlier, all our colleagues in General Assembly decide to delegate presidency of associations to Republic of Moldova. Again, 25 years of electoral code, presidency of associations. It's excellent opportunity to meet each other in Moldova and to show what we build, what kind of institutions we have. Paul, do you remember that first component of electoral commissions have only 4-person staff, and 9 members. Majority of them was judicial. Now we have very professional commission, very professional, more than 50-person permanent staff, continuing training center, very modern IT system that we use in elections. And everything that we did in Moldova, we share with our colleagues, we learn from our colleagues, particularly in limits of our communications and collaboration in associations. I will not keep too long your attention. I want to thank you, our colleagues from Romania, for organizations of current annual meeting with excellent presence, excellent presentations, and excellent level of organizations. And the same, for sure, thank you to Mr. General Secretary of Associations, Mr. John Slonak, and all his team, because work was done great. And Paul, Alex, it's here. He just say hello for you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Mulțumesc foarte mult, my good friend, and you certainly can be assured that I'll do everything I can to be in Moldova next year for the 25th anniversary of the electoral code of Moldova, and I will certainly get out of Chisinau and have a glass of wine with you anywhere that you want to take me. So that's a promise. You know, I know it's late there in Bucharest. It's the end of the day, and the previous session went late. And I know it's late in other parts of the world. Folks are listening here. So we won't go much further, but I do want to take this opportunity to really personally thank, Zsolt Szolnoki, Istvan Ahi, Janos Mex, and I know there are others, but those folks in particular, who work very hard to keep this organization going. I mean, I interact with them on a regular basis, and they all have other jobs that they're doing, but they devote their energies and efforts to ACEEO to make it, a good organization and one that continues. And I know this conference in particular was a challenge, as was last year's, because of the pandemic. There's a lot planned for this year in person, and of course the host there in Romania had planned for us all to be together to share our personal experiences and our friendship. And it's a shame we can't be together, but I want to give particular thanks to them for organizing this conference, for bringing together the speakers, for organizing this Zoom effort, because I know just from my own personal experience, it's not easy to do that and to bring dozens of people together, either there on site and then those from around the globe, actually, to do something like this. It just takes a lot of effort to make it all happen. And I know I want to thank you on behalf of all the honorary members of ACEEO for everything you've done for this organization since all of you started with it. And Zsolt, I know you're there the longest, and it's amazing. I've seen you grow, I've seen you get married, I've seen you have 3 kids, and it's amazing. Your kids are getting older, like, my kids are older, and I now have 13 grandkids, and I think when I started, we had none. So I thank all of you for listening and participating, and certainly thank our speakers today, representing the 28 great people who are honorary members. And wish you well. I'll get up. I'm setting my alarm to get up very early in the morning for me, and I know for Richard and some others here in North America, to watch many of your sessions coming up, certainly tomorrow and on Wednesday. And I again congratulate you on the success of this conference, and drink again to the 30 years of success of ACEEO. So thank you very much. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. General Secretary.
Dear Paul, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your moderation. Thank you also for respecting the time of the limit of the conference. Also, yes, this is 6:30 already in Bucharest. We are ready to take the dinner. I'm not sure if there will be a champagne for the dinner, but there might be a red wine or something like this. So we definitely make this toast for you as well, and we definitely want to see you in Chisinau next year. That's I think the video streaming or the recording will be available, so you will not miss the morning session tomorrow. So it will be available later as well, so you can watch it. But we do hope that you can join us for the afternoon session as well. And finally, our common appreciation goes for the honorary members those who are still with us, and of course for those who already passed away, and we really appreciate you done for this association. Thank you very much again for you online. Thank you to colleagues sitting in the room, and see you soon. Bye-bye.